Hi, my name is Alan Lamont. This is another video in the series of the Jesuits derooting the Reformation, and I am here with a man named George Glisman, and you can go to the website called Mystery Babylon News Radio, where you will find these radio broadcasts, Jesuits derooting the Reformation, part 1 to 3, and also various other radio broadcasts about the Jesuit connection to John Adams and Benjamin Franklin, and really the true secret history of the founding of America, which was by the Jesuits of Rome. And you will find that on this website by George Glisman, and also you will find various broadcasts by Walt Sickle and the founder of the website Avenue of Light. Okay, I would like to begin by talking right now about the Roman Catholic connection to the Third Reich, because we were talking previously about the Jesuits and really how they created the Reichs of Germany. You know, you have three Reichs. You have the First, Second and Third Reich. And so I would like to begin by making a quotation from Adolf Hitler. And Adolf Hitler said, quote, "I see in Himmler our Ignatius of Loyola." Also, we have a quotation here from Hermann Reichsting, and this was really a quotation, and it says, "I learned much from the order of the Jesuits," said Hitler. "Until now there has never been anything more grandiose on the earth than the hierarchical organization of the Catholic Church. I transferred much of this organization into my own party. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I'm founding an order. In my burghs of the order, we will raise up a youth which will make the world tremble." Hitler then stopped, saying that he couldn't say any more. Now, this is a historical quote, and it can be verified. And you will find it if you look on the internet. Men like Alex Jones or David Icke, or these agents on the internet, even Texie Mars, they never reveal the true history of history itself. They never go into secret history. And you will find with Adolf Hitler that he was really funded by the Jesuits, and that can be proven by the Concordat that was signed by Cardinal Pacelli on the 20th of July 1933. You find their Vice Chancellor Franz von Papen, who I mentioned in the last video. He was the Vice Chancellor of Germany. Overseeing this operation during this period in history was the Black Pope. Now, the Black Pope at that time, the Superior General of the Jesuits, was Vladimir Ladowski, and he was the Jesuit general that overseen this Third Reich. But we'll have to also go into the history of Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler's father, Alois Hitler Schlabunker, on June the 7th, 1837, he was born, obviously, of course. He was the father of Adolf Hitler. He was baptized a Roman Catholic, and he was a very devout Roman Catholic. Now, his mother, Adolf Hitler's mother, Clara Hitler, was born on August the 12th, 1860. She also was a very devout Roman Catholic. This information never is brought out. When men like David Icke talk about Adolf Hitler, they make out that Adolf Hitler really was the son of a Rothschild. That, of course, is disinformation. When you look into Nazi Germany, let me bring another quotation here, and it's actually from Francisco Franco. He was a Vatican knight, and he was the dictator of Spain, and he was knighted into the Order of Christ. And this is a quotation from him, published on the 3rd of May 1945, the very day of Hitler's death. Quote, "Adolf Hitler, son of the Catholic Church, died while defending Christianity." Now, let me say first of all, before I continue, Hitler did not die. Hitler, was taken in a submarine to Argentina, and that is brought out in a book called The Grey Wolf. And you find that Hitler really was, brought into the power structure in Argentina. And let me continue. It is therefore understandable that words cannot be found to lament over his death, when so many were found to exalt his life. Over his mortal remains stands his victorious moral figure, with the palm of the martyr. God gives Hitler the laurels of victory. Who was really in control of Germany? And what was the agenda behind the Third Reich? And I'll say this, then I'll pass it on to you, Georg. You see clearly that the Knights of Malta were really at the top. They were really the ones in control of Nazi Germany. And you find that most of Hitler's henchmen, they were actually, Jesuits. And the only reason that Hitler came to power was through this concordat by Cardinal Pacelli, later to become Pope Pius. And he was actually what's called the Vatican Secretary of State. And it was Franz von Papen, the Knight of Malta, who was the German nobleman, Knight of Malta, Catholic politician, and general staff officer and diplomat that really truly brought Hitler to power.
So, you want me to come in now, huh?
Yes.
Hello. Thought you fell asleep there.
No, I was waiting for you to come in.
Well,
it's okay.
You were starting off with the Third Reich. Very interesting quotes that you read there, especially the one from Hitler, where he wanted the SS structured after the Jesuitical order.
Yes, yeah.
I think there is something that we have to add to that.
Mm-hmm.
With Operation Paperclip, after the Second World War,
interesting. Go on. Yeah.
The Americans took a lot of people from the SS over to the United States of America, where they founded out of the OSS, the Office of Secret Service, what was it?
Office
the
of
OSS,
Strategic
the
Services.
forerunner of the CIA.
Yes.
They founded with all these Germans the CIA. So I guess it is not too blunt to say that probably the CIA is also formatted in the hierarchy and structure like the Jesuits.
Mm-hmm.
Just to tell a little bit about that one. I have something else that I wanted to draw the attention of the people on. Like I said in the first video, we have the First Reich, Second Reich, Third Reich. Everybody knows about the Third Reich. Most of the people haven't heard of the first one, and I'm sure that 90% of the people never heard of the Second German Reich.
Yeah.
This Second German Reich was actually founded in 1871. After the German-Franco War that ran between 1870 and 1871, German troops finally triumphed over France and arrested Napoleon III. Even before the truce proclaimed German princes and monarchs the German Empire in the halls of mirrors at Versailles. You know, the Hall of Mirrors in Versailles, in that castle?
Mm-hmm.
Even before the truce was proclaimed, the German princes and monarchs went there, and in the Hall of Mirrors in Versailles is one of the largest and one of the most famous rooms of the Palace in Versailles near Paris in France. There are many famous political meetings were held on 18th of January 1871. All German small states were now united in one nation state. So the Germans actually went there in Paris, what was occupied by them, and put the French there and humiliated the French exactly by in their own capital city, or at their own capital city, at this great castle, to sign a peace treaty where the German Reich, the Second German Empire, was actually born in 1871.
Wow.
Now, why do you think the Germans were humiliated in 1918, just in that same castle in Versailles? Kind of payback?
Yes.
Or kind of coincidence?
Also preparation for the Third Reich. Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah.
The ending of the First World War, without that ending, we would never have had a Second World War.
That's right.
But, you know, that is what the English did in Versailles at the end of the First World War. They just pulled out in front of the eyes of all the Germans who had no idea the Balfour Declaration, and told them, this is the reason why you lost the war, because at the end of 1916, Germany had factually won the war.
That's
England
right.
was on the ground, France was on the ground.
Uh-huh.
And then Lord Rothschild came up with this Balfour Declaration that he sent to Lord Balfour, the English Foreign Secretary, and made him the offer that he will, or they will, take care of that England can still win the war if England promises the land of Palestine to the Rothschilds. What they actually did, because that was under English rule at that time.
That's correct, yes. The Rothschilds actually funded the very early settlements of Israel. Go ahead, George. That's correct.
Yeah, the whole idea of Zionism didn't come up before 1870 or 1860, so that's just a kind of new idea. But there's one thing that I really want to mention about. So we have this funding of the Second German Reich in 1871 by our Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. He made a law in 1872 that banned all Jesuits from this now German national state. In 1872, he banished all Jesuits from the country.
Wow.
Now, do you want to know when that law was taken away again? When that was abolished again?
Absolutely. Go ahead, yeah.
1917. The year the Americans joined the First World War because of the Balfour Declaration and made the Germans lose the war. Coincidence? I think not. You know, Bismarck is a very, very smart man. He knew the German people. And I'm going to cite him here in one quote that really is something you have to know, and really let it flow like oil down your brain. Really enjoy this quote. The urge to serve foreign interests, even if only possible by abandoning national interests, is a sickness that is geographically limited to German territory. You got that? And that is something that connects very well with a quote that Napoleon did in when he did his biography. Quote, "There's no more good-natured, but not easily more believing people than the German. No lie can be conceived broadly enough, the Germans believe it. A slogan which was given them, they pursue their countrymen with greater bitterness than their real enemies." End quote. When you put these two together, then you have an idea why the Germans even make it that easy for the Jesuits to, kill them off this planet. It is said that Ahmadinejad said that Israel is going to be wiped out of this earth. That is a false quotation. We know that he meant the Zionist regime, but the Jesuits have probably sworn to wipe Germany off this earth.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure about that. Not only because of 1871 or 1872, where Bismarck banished the Jesuits from that country, but because of a lot of other things. And when you go into the Jesuit oaths, which we do at another time, you will understand why they are hating Germany that much. And of course, and that's the reason for my radio show that I do, Rooting the Reformation, because the Reformation found their roots in Germany.
Yes, let me come in here and just say to everyone, we're going to do some more videos now. Go to the website and listen to these radio broadcasts. You have to go there and listen to this. It's the Jesuits derooting of the Reformation. It's called Mystery Babylon News Radio. It's actually called GrandDesignExposed.com, Jesuit Connection Reformation HTML. Go to this website and listen to these radio broadcasts by Joe Glisman and Walt Stickle and the founder of AvenueOfLight.com, and we'll make some more videos for everyone to receive true history and secret history that has been suppressed, and covered up by the Jesuits of Rome. Thank you for listening. My name is Alan Lamont, and the next video is coming soon. God bless you.